All right, let's just jump right in. If you're in any kind of professional field right now, you know that feeling of just being completely exhausted. It feels like a constant battle. But what if I told you the key to actually thriving, not just surviving, isn't about dodging the storm, it's about running straight into it? Today, we're going to break down this really powerful mindset that can help you navigate pretty much any challenge.
And this quote? This is the entire game plan right here. It's not about looking for a workaround or, waiting for the skies to clear. Nope. It's about looking that difficulty right in the eye, because honestly, that's the smartest and fastest way forward. For a lot of people out there, especially if you're in real estate, the word brutal probably doesn't even cover it. It just feels like you've been fighting to keep your head above water for years, and now, somehow, the current just got stronger. It is so draining. You're smiling, you're doing your job, but on the inside, you just feel soaked and tired. So why does it feel so uniquely tough right now? Well, it's not just in your head, and it's not just one thing. We're in a perfect storm. You've got your typical cyclical market downturn, which is rough enough, but that's crashing right into the seasonal slowdown that always hits in the fourth and first quarters. It's that collision that's creating all this pressure.
But here is the perspective that changes everything. You have to zoom out. Yeah, okay, the immediate forecast, it shows about 7 more months of this storm. But look at the bigger picture. Look at history. These tough cycles are almost always followed by about 8 years of a major upturn. So think about it this way. The short-term pain is basically your price of admission for a massive long-term opportunity.
Okay, so how in the world do we get through these next 7 months? This is where we need to completely shift our mindset. It's time to stop thinking like someone who's just caught in a storm and start thinking like a buffalo. Now I know it sounds a little out there, but stick with me, because it is the most strategic thing you can possibly do.
Just think about how different animals react when a storm rolls in. Most of them, cows for example, they turn and run away from it, right? Seems logical. But all that does is keep them in the storm for longer. The buffalo, it does the exact opposite. It turns and charges directly into the storm. It just knows instinctively that running into the thunder is the absolute quickest way to get to the calm on the other side. That's the buffalo mentality.
Now here's a hard truth. Before you get to thrive, you absolutely have to survive. In this kind of environment, just staying in the game, just keeping your business alive, that in itself is a huge win. Why? Because every single person who gives up and drops out, well, that's one less person you have to compete with when the good times come back.
And really, that's the bottom line. It's a little blunt, but it's 100% true. You see that huge Thrive market that's on the horizon? It's an exclusive party, and the only people on the guest list are the ones who make it through the storm. Survival isn't passive waiting, it's your ticket to the main event.
So how do you make sure you survive without completely burning out? Well, it's not about grinding harder. Actually, it's the opposite. It's about strategic rest. Take a class to sharpen your skills. Really study the playbooks of people who are winning. Go network just to connect, not to close a deal. And seriously, sometimes the best thing you can do is just let the phone go to voicemail and choose happy hour over another coffee. You got to recharge that battery.
Another huge survival tactic is who you choose to be around. It's the power of proximity. As the saying goes, eagles want to be with other eagles. High performers just feed off each other. They share energy, they share strategies. In a tough market, being in an environment of excellence isn't just nice, it's a massive competitive advantage. It helps you gain ground when everyone else is losing it.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good theory. The data absolutely proves it. Take this one high-performing office, for example. In a down market, they actually grew their volume by 10%. Their market share is so dominant now that it takes their next 4 biggest competitors combined just to equal their output. That's what happens when eagles fly together. That's the principle in action.
Okay, so we've got the mindset, right? The buffalo mentality. We've got the survival tactics. Now, let's get really practical and turn this into an actionable playbook. And we're going to do that by focusing on a massive, and I mean massive, hidden opportunity in today's market, the 55 and older demographic. You have to understand the market has completely shifted. A gigantic portion of real estate transactions right now, we're talking 70% involve this demographic. So many of them are sitting on a ton of wealth locked up in property, but they have no idea how to access it or maybe shift into more passive investments. This is your chance to stop being just an agent and start being a true wealth advisor.
And the crazy part is, the entire conversation can start with a question this simple. It's not a sales pitch, it's a key. You're just trying to unlock the door. If they say yes to this question, you've just found someone who's an investor. And just like that, you can pivot the conversation away from a single house and towards their entire portfolio of assets.
Now, understanding this one concept, cost basis, can literally save your clients hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's incredible. So, picture this. Little Johnny is inheriting a property his parents bought for, say, $100,000. It's now worth $1.2 million. If his name was put on the title before they passed away, he gets what's called a carryover basis. And boom, he's hit with a $300,000 tax bill. But if he inherits it after they pass, he gets a step up in basis, and his tax bill is basically zero. Knowing that difference makes you an absolute hero. And for all those clients who want to sell an investment property but don't want to get crushed by that huge tax bill, the 1031 exchange is your magic wand. It's a tool that lets them sell a property, take all the proceeds, and roll them into a new investment property, all while deferring the capital gains taxes. This is the mechanism that makes the whole strategy work.
So the million-dollar question, how do you find these clients? Here's the playbook, step by step. 1. Use a tool like PropStream to build a super targeted list of senior owners who have a lot of equity. 2. Don't cold call them. Instead, invite them to a free educational seminar about, say, how to avoid capital gains tax. And 3, you don't even have to be the expert. You just facilitate. Bring in a CPA, bring in an attorney. You're the one providing the value. One person who did this got 32 people to show up and walked away with 8 high-quality appointments in 1 hour. It works.
All right, let's pull all these threads together now and look at what's coming. Everything we've talked about, the Buffalo Mentality, the Survival Kit, the 55-plus Playbook, it's all about one thing, positioning yourself for what happens after the storm passes.
Think about this. While you were charging into the storm, about 30% of your competition just left. They ran away. They got out of the business. For those of you who endured, who stayed in the game, the field is now wide open. There is so much opportunity and way fewer people to fight for it.
And that is the ultimate payoff. Because you stayed, you're not just going to recover. You are going to slingshot forward. You will gain more market share faster than you ever thought possible. That is the reward for having the courage to run into the storm, period.
Look, we've covered the mindset, we've covered the strategy, and we've covered a specific actionable playbook. But none of it means a thing if you don't do something with it. This isn't just information to make your bookshelf smarter. This is a set of tools designed to go out and change your bottom line.
And that really brings us to the final, most important point. This whole idea, it isn't just about real estate. Every single one of us in every profession faces storms. So the question I want to leave you with is this. In your career right now, what's the storm that you're facing? And are you ready to stop running from it and start running towards it?